Hello, fabulous fourth grade mathematicians. Today we are learning how to classify or group triangles. As a quick review from third grade, a triangle is a three-sided figure or shape. And we know triangles can look many different ways. Here are some examples of some triangles. Okay, there are three sides to each of these shapes. I know that they do look very different. However, they're all triangles because they have three sides. The word part tri in the word triangle, okay, means three. A tricycle, okay, it has three wheels. Okay, so triangle. Try to make a tattoo on your brain. Triangle is a three-sided shape. Okay? A triangle, so all of these that you see here, it has a very specific name. And we can decide what the name of these triangles are based on two different things. So there's two categories of triangles. One category of triangle gives the triangle a name based on the length of each side of the triangle. So one group of names of triangles is based on the sides, and we have to study those sides and look at those sides very carefully in order to figure out those names. So if we are going to classify a triangle by its sides, okay, one name of a triangle is an equilateral. At home, say that with me, please. Equilateral. When I say that word out loud, I really hear the word equal in there. It's not spelled the same, but I hear it. That's a little memory reminder to help you to know that in an equilateral triangle, all three sides are equal. And they show us that, like if you look at this and you're like, oh, I don't know, Mrs. Nora, I kind of feel like that side doesn't look like it's the same. They put these little dashes or tick marks on the sides to show that they're equal. Since these all have one line on them, we know that they're all equal, even though I know there's not a measurement there. It doesn't say how many millimeters or centimeters, but those markings tell us that all three sides are equal. We would name this triangle an equilateral triangle. Okay. If they mark it differently, for example, this looks like an equilateral, but if they mark it like this, they're saying that these two sides match. And notice that that one has two lines. Okay. What these markings are saying to us is that this side of the triangle and this side of the triangle are the same length. We don't know what that length is, but and that doesn't matter, but those markings tell us same. The two marks on the bottom one say that this length is not the same as these two. This is not an equilateral triangle. Okay, I did look like a triangle person though. Did you all see that? Legs, arms. Okay, not equilateral. But in this case, all three are marked the same length. Doesn't matter what it is, equilateral. Another name for a triangle based on its sides is an isosceles. Please say that with me. Isosceles. Okay, multiple syllables. In an isosceles triangle, there are two equal sides. Okay. And they note in here for us the two equal angles. Don't worry about that so much right now. I'm afraid it's going to confuse us while we start. Let's just look at two equal sides. This time they didn't give us those tick or hashtag lines, but they did give us numbers. It says this is 5 inches, 5 inches, and 3 inches, which means these two are equal. We could mark them like this. The bottom or base of our triangle is different, so we would mark it like that. Okay? And since there are two equal sides, it's an isosceles. Sometimes students look for a memory reminder on this one. Okay, isosceles doesn't sound like it's meaning, like it doesn't sound like there's two equal sides, but there are two E's in isosceles, okay, and that might help you to remember. That means two sides, two E's, two sides the same. The last way that we classify or name or group a triangle is called based on its sides, it's called a scalene. And what that means is no sides of the triangle are the same. No sides. Okay. They mark it as one tick marker line. It's real hard probably for you to see at home. I can't quite fully get that to focus. I wish they would have made these a little more clear. Here's what it looks like. Okay. And what they're saying is all three of these are different. We don't know the measurement. No equal sides. That is a scalene. I remember as a memory reminder that a scalene triangle looks like it's leaning a little bit. See how it almost looks like an elephant sat on this triangle? Whoosh. And it squished it down. It's a leaning Tower of Pisa. Okay. A scalene triangle is leaning. Okay. So we learned three names for triangles based upon the length of their sides. Equilateral, three equal. Isosceles, two equal, one is different. Scalene is leaning, all three sides are different. If we went back to the triangles I quickly drew at the beginning, okay, I could now give these triangles names based upon the lengths of their sides. I am going to make it a little more clear though with some markings. All right, if we took a look at these triangles, this is telling me, and this is what you're going to do on your assignment in IXL today, they'll show you a triangle and you need to give it a name. I notice that two sides are equal, one is different. I'm going to go back to my Keep It card to help me because I'm just learning the names. Okay, two equal sides, one is different. I know that that is an isosceles. Tricky to spell. There we go. But I use my Keep It card. This triangle up here, I notice that's kind of leaning or it looks squished. I'm going to check to see if my thoughts are right, but I think that's a scalene. Go back to my Keep It card. Oh yeah. Okay, 1, 2, 3 different sides. This shows 3 different sides. That is a scalene. This triangle shows, and these markings show all 3 sides are equal. I've got that one down, an equilateral. Okay. Lastly, this triangle has 3 different length sides. I know from my Keep It card, 3 different is scalene. Now, something to notice is that it is possible to have the same kind of triangle based on its sides, or same name for a triangle, and they look different. And that's one of the tricky things about working with triangles when we classify or sort them. So it is important to always go back to the definition and look at, well, what does it mean to be a scalene? We can't just tattoo what that looks like on our brain, because it may be a scalene, but it may look very different. Go back to your Keep It card for help. If you all have a printer at home, I would encourage you to print today's Keep It card, which is linked with our assignment page. And it's also in our Google Classroom in math. If you don't have a printer, that is okay. I would encourage you to just keep it up as a tab, open IXL as a separate tab, and look back and forth. I know that that's not always easy to do, but I know that you can do it if you all persevere. The second way to classify or group a triangle is not by looking at its sides, but instead by looking carefully at the angles inside the triangle. Whenever there are directions or a teacher says, classify or group or name these triangles by angles, they will always give you numbers for your angles so that you know what that measurement is. Okay, so that's what we're paying attention to now. We're not looking at our sides at all because we are now naming, classifying, or grouping triangles by their angles. If all three angles are acute, oh, they're cute, they're small. Remember, acute we learned means less than 90 degrees. If they're all acute, which these are, if you can't see those at home, they're 62, 75, 43, all less than 90 degrees, we call this an acute triangle. We learned yesterday that when you see this box every single time, for sure, it is spot on 90-degree angle. That's a right angle. Well, if you see a triangle that has that marking inside of it, we call that a right triangle. It doesn't have to be shaped exactly like that. It could be upside down version. Oh dear. See if I can do this, team. Ooh, not fabulous, but Mrs. Coltman would have done a far better job. Okay, but here is another example of a right triangle. I know those don't look the same exactly. However, they both have a 90-degree marker in it. The other two cannot be 90 degrees because then it would not be shaped like a triangle. Just one 90-degree box marking tells us that we would label that a right triangle. Those are acute, aren't they? If you're noticing that. But we have to have all three acute to call it acute. Lastly, if it's an obtuse triangle, it has at least one obtuse angle. We know an obtuse angle is 91 degrees or greater. Okay, so even if it's a 91 degrees, 1 degree past 90, we would still name this an obtuse triangle. Your IXL assignment today is going to ask you to classify or sort, label, name triangles by their sides and by their angles. I know that this was a lot of information to take in right now. You will all find that if you use this visual Keep It card and you think carefully as you work through IXL, you're going to be successful. Just take your time. Okay? They do not mix it up. There's one IXL activity that asks you to name triangles based on their sides. Then you'll close out of that in a separate IXL that will ask you to name them based on their angles. Thank you for being good listeners and working hard. Miss you all and send you love and hugs. Hope you're having a great day.